Well, it did be 60 seconds. I'm not starting this again. 60 seconds is definitely different to 60 seconds. That'll teach me to try. I lined up everything, all the technology, the intro coming automatically. I said to Michael a second ago, this will be easy. I won't do any editing. And then the first thing I say is 60 seconds rather than 60 seconds. I tell you what, it certainly wasn't a 60 seconds. It was completely wrong earlier. And that was on the goalkeeper thing because West Ham got linked with pretty much almost immediately after I'd done the video. West Ham got linked with, well, guy's got two first names, John Victor. We need a trip. To be fair, to be a West Ham signing, you've got to have a double barrel thing going on. So if it had been John Victor Prowse or something, then I might have been interested. Anyway, West Ham got linked with this keeper. No, it would not been linked with him at all beforehand. Anyway, I'm going to have a look. Got Michael here, Michael Levy Jr., who's got a bit of a cold, and he's got a singing gig tonight, haven't you, mate?
I have, yeah. My voice a bit croaky, a bit blocked up, but the show must go on. And don't worry about the intro, because you know what they say, 60 sells. So you'll get good views on this.
West Ham news in 60 seconds. Oh, I'll tell you what, hey, with the owner we got, you never know. Anyway, we'll leave it. We'll leave it. Don't, yeah, absolutely. We don't want any trouble. What do you think about the goalkeeper news?
It's come out of left field, hasn't it? You know, it's all been talk about Hermansen and Zion Suzuki and whatever. I can't help but think this is a bit of a red herring thrown in there just for negotiation purposes. You know, reports today have suggested that we've maybe intensified our efforts in getting Suzuki, which I can sort of see the appeal because he's got sort of a higher ceiling than a Madsen, I think. You know, maybe we'll end up a bit better player, but certainly I can see the appeal for the ownership in terms of the marketability, you know, in that Far Eastern market. So I definitely think that's a thing. Shirt sales, they've looked at players like, you know, Park Ji-sung and Son and other players over the years. And he's also part, I believe he was born in the US, part Japanese mother, I think he's got, and part Ghanaian as well. So you got both the Far Eastern market and the African market there. And Sullivan be rubbing his little hands together about that. But yeah, I think this John Victor, I never trust anyone with two Christian names. Probably offended a load of subscribers now, but
you have. Oh, Paul Michaels is not happy about that, I'll tell you.
No, that's it. Or Paul Daniels. But yeah, we need more double barrel names, don't we? Anyone with Peters in it or Prowse in it. But yeah, I think he's well, look, maybe he's a viable option. I think I listened to Gio's video earlier on, and he suggested that perhaps this John, is it Victor John or John Victor? What way around is it?
John Victor, but you call him what you want. I'm not sure we're going to sign him, but yeah, but whatever. Go on, yeah.
Well, Gio was suggesting that perhaps he was like a backup keeper, like maybe the Fabianski of last season, and perhaps we'll try and cash in while his stock is not high but not completely on the floor. Areola. You know, because I don't think Areola's going to be happy being a number two. Although saying that, he's been a number two for the bulk of his career. And when myself and Sat and Gatesy did an episode of Overland and C-Word halfway through the season, I brought up an article and a conversation that was on TalkSport with Tony Cotti, who was suggesting that we had two number twos and that Fabianski had been a brilliant keeper during his career, but obviously was on a decline and age was against him. And that was the first time that I put it to the boys as he got a point. And then perhaps it just was a little bit of, you know, like, what do they call it? Like confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And then I started to see it. And I wouldn't mind cashing in on Areola if he is at all a bankable asset at the moment. I keep saying this on Overland and C-Word on Patreon. I think he's dodgy at his near post. You know the way we worked out, people worked out that Joe Hart couldn't dive to his left.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That became a thing. I think go and have a look. I think a lot of the goals we concede that are a bit dodgy are always at his near post. He doesn't command his box. Distribution isn't great. So we certainly need an upgrade. But in terms of the Botafogo keeper, I think that's either a little negotiating tool to say, look, we've got other options and cheaper than you. Or as Gio suggested, perhaps we're looking to bring in two keepers if the price is right. I know, you know, I'm not sure with the way they're talking about the budget, that's going to happen. But that's my thoughts, really.
No, it's funny because talking about two number twos, I was on the phone to Gio when I sat on the Kazi earlier, and
was he as well?
I hope so. I think that's the way it's done, is it? It'd be rude if we weren't. It did sound quite echoey. Anyway, but we were talking, and he said he wasn't sure that old John Victor had played much in the first team before 2024. So he was saying that guy has possibly only really been a number one. I can't be sure. I keep thinking number one's and number two. Sorry. It's very puerile, very childish. That he hadn't been a first choice goalkeeper for that long, which sort of, plays into that theory that he's got, which I do think is a good one. And there's nobody's that I haven't seen him catch a ball, so I couldn't tell you anything about this goalkeeper. But I do know that either Suzuki or Hermansen are the choices.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. And when we spoke briefly earlier, we were both under the impression that this might be a red herring. But
yeah,
the other one also makes sense as well. Why not go and buy two goalkeepers? And something Gio said to me as well, and he's mentioned it a few times actually, that Potter has said that there's too much money not on the pitch at West Ham. And what he means by that is that there's just too many people on high wages that are not in the first team. Rodriguez would be a great case in point. Rodriguez on like 100 grand a week. He's not a regular first team player. And then there's lots of examples of that over the years, of course. Danny Ings very, very recently, of course. What that means is, if we do get a new goalkeeper, if we were to sign Suzuki, for instance, then Areola does go on the bench. You have an ex-Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper who's on over 100 grand a week. And that would be exactly what Potter doesn't want. So maybe there's something in that. But the trouble is, because let me make this point first. We haven't actually signed these players yet, but because there is a suspicion that we might be signing Callum Wilson, and that would be a choice, a pick of David Sullivan, and Graham Potter doesn't want him, then you sort of find yourself looking for conspiracy in everything as well. So I'm thinking, hold on a second, is this goalkeeper someone that Potter doesn't want, and he's not going to get his top pick, one of the two players he really likes? So, yeah, but if it turns out to be that he's actually the second choice, and then we're getting rid of Areola as well, then it makes absolute sense, and nobody's going to complain. And his wages would be very, very low, very low. There's no doubt about that at all. Someone like that, they tend to sign for sort of 35, 40 grand a week, and they've still had a massive pay rise from whatever they were on. Probably anyway. Did you watch the game the other day? Did you catch that? I know you were working.
No, I didn't in the end. I tried to watch some of the. I watched the goals and everything. I watched a few highlights that I found on a website, but I haven't studied it properly. But just before you move on from the goalkeeper thing, with your line of thinking there, throw this in the mix. In his latest update, a couple of hours ago, X said that this Spotify goalkeeper, this Victor John, was a suggestion from an agent.
Oh, did he? Right, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Just to factor in what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know it had come from X, to be fair, but I did look, and his agent is South American. So I had a look. I did not recognise the agent. So obviously it's like a scratch card, isn't it? You're scratching below the surface to see what's there, and I didn't see to see if it was Will Salthouse. That's what you're looking for. So yeah, it was. I didn't recognise the name. It was a South American name. So I don't know who
was it. Was it Hillam Saltacio? Is that what it was?
We've never done any business with him before, have we? No, that's
he's coming in a moustache and a sombrero.
He's got a disguise on. I like that. Willem Saltacio. That's very good. That is very good. He's got the old sombrero on and all the stuff, as you say.
Holding a wicked donkey under his arm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Just yeah.
No, I didn't get a chance to dissect the game. I know lots of positives from what I could see. Delighted the way the youth are being incorporated. Let's just hope that we've had periods in previous pre-seasons. I'll put you off now. We've had, just going to say it quickly whilst we're giggling. I was giggling all the way through your first speech after you spoke about the two number 2's. I was thinking, if we get 2,000 likes on this video, we'd take some Patreon money and we'd buy you and Gio the his and hers toilets. Have you seen them?
Beautiful.
One facing forward, One facing back. It's
Beautiful,
disgusting.
beautiful. With the podcast, with Kazi, of course, everyone used to accuse me of doing it. I was under the stairs. Everyone used to accuse me of being in my toilet, and I came very, very close to like no one has toilets like that. Everyone's got a push button toilet. But like the old toilets we used to pull
Just put
like,
a
the thing
chain in the
down.
background.
Honestly, I thought I'm going to hang a chain from the ceiling and then have it down there, and I was going to like my thing was going to be to end the video. I can't do the noise.
Bit of bog roll behind you.
Yeah. Do a flushing noise or something like that. I am now thinking though with old Callum Salthouseo. There's got to be an AI thing for that. That's got to
That's
be.
the thumbnail sorted.
Maybe, yeah, I think so. I'm not very good at it. It's all the prompts. That's what it's called in that sort of stuff. You've got to get the prompts right. I'm never very good at it. They're very, very clever, these people. Okay, so you didn't see the game.
No. But I was delighted with the introduction of the youth. We've had pre-seasons previous years where we've seen the likes of Cullen and Coventry and other players get a game in the pre-season friendlies, and as soon as the season proper starts, it's shipped off on loan again. So be interesting to see what we do this upcoming season, because we definitely need some squad depth. I was delighted with Potts. He really, really looks like he's ready. He's ready to be in and around the first team now. I was chuffed with that. Couple of mistakes. Before I'd looked at any highlights, I was surprised that you waxed so lyrically about Kilman, because having only seen the goal, I thought he was at fault for that. But yeah, actually, he got himself together a little bit. Kalen Casey started a little bit wobbly, didn't he? Maybe had a bad half hour, but grew into the game. But that's to be expected. He hasn't had much first team football or minutes, so that could be a little bit of what we call in the boxing world ring rust. So that could be that. Delighted with Callum Marshall's energy, and like you, I would much rather have him around the first team squad than old Wilson from Dad's Army. But yeah, overall pretty good. Paqueta seems like his old self, like the weight of the world's been lifted off his shoulders.
Yeah.
Bad goalkeeping error from them. Just getting fitness in the legs, avoiding injuries. But the biggest positive for me was, and I kept moaning on the podcast last pre-season under Lopetegui, that I couldn't see any identity. I couldn't see any style of play or ethos being adopted. And it all seemed hickledy-pickledy. I'm at least delighted to see the positives from not just the youth, but the fact that it's coming together. So we're starting to see what he wants to do. And maybe he'll change it up and go to a 4 when Somerville comes back to use, more on the flags, which I'd like to see, because I'd much rather, like a lot of us, see Bowen in his more natural position, a 3-4-3, but a little wider. Yep. But I can see what he wants to do, and he's at least drilling. If that's not the constant formation, he's at least drilling another option. So yeah, lots of positives for me from that game, and I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I just think so much stems from the midfield. I think if you take that out, which you have to, I do think you can see how it possibly can work. And I'm relaxing more the more I see, which is really good. And you know what? Maybe that's the case. I'd certainly felt last season, if you've got anything sort of remotely tactical under your belt, why are you not using it now? But maybe, just maybe, not everyone is able to do that. Not everyone can flick that switch. Maybe some people are slow burners and they take time to implement their ethos. Also, it's almost like sometimes a lot of talk goes on with regard to, I guess, when he talks about the group and zooming out, he uses a lot of sort of like buzzwords, if you want, and I just think a lot of cliches, and I've never been a massive fan of that type of thing. And I think instantly when anyone talks like that or overly engages in corporate speak and thinking outside the box and all that
on the pulse
stuff, exactly, I do tend to switch off, because I think you're not speaking candidly. But the longer it's gone on, the more I'm thinking, actually, no, he is working with the group. He is certainly, I don't know, trying to encourage a more sort of unified, family-based approach to everything. And I guess the proof of the pudding will ultimately be in the football itself. But I no longer think I'm hearing a load of sound bites about a happy camp. I feel like I'm seeing it. Fulkrug looks happier. He sounds happier. He was even made joking about when he received his Man of the Match award, and he was joking. He was happy. You can see he's joking when they're doing the behind the scenes stuff as well. Paqueta obviously is happy. He's dancing. I never thought I'd be pleased to see a man samba dance. It turns out I am. More of it, because it just shows that he's happy, and I'm really, really, really pleased about that. And everyone seems so enthused, and everyone that gives an interview and just everything you hear is nice. And there's just so much negativity around West Ham, and there has been, and people are naturally worried about next season, and people will remain worried, and I'm still worried, but I'm getting better, and looking forward to it more.
Do you know, hindsight's 2020, isn't it? And I'll throw my hands up. I think you and I were aligned in our thinking last season that if Graham Potter's a head coach, and not an all-seeing manager, then he's never really had the chance to have his own players brought in. No. And different players can hit the ground running. Take Pereira coming in at Wolves last season, straight in, implemented his style. Brilliant. And like you say, others need a little bit more time. But like we say, with the benefit of hindsight, I throw my hands up. I never felt optimistic that when he brought new players in, all of a sudden we were going to get a magical new style. However, could it be the case, though, that some of the players that he's offloaded, whether it be on a free or not renewed their contract, or the likes of Kudus, could it be that they weren't receptive to what he was trying to implement? Could it be that there was troublemakers in the group? I mean, we've heard whispers that Antonio's not always the easiest, although we love him. We've heard whispers that Alvarez tends to fall out and is not a shrinking violet. We've heard and seen rumours about Kudus falling out with Lopetegui and Stuyton and him. So could it be that you can't get blood out of a stone sometimes? Perhaps all this was there, but maybe there were 4, 5, 6 players in that dressing room that weren't receptive to what he's doing. And is it a coincidence that now the likes of those players are gone? Some on the front. I'm not saying everyone. I'm not saying the likes of Creswell or Ings were a problem or whatever. You can make your own mind up what you think. But now the likes of Kudus has gone, who clearly wasn't happy. Could it be now that they really are tight-knit in a group, and all these team-building exercises is paying off, and now they are genuinely all feeling like a weight's been lifted because it feels like an overhaul? And just a second spur on that point is, I saw an interview the other day with that Bruno. Is it Bruno something? I don't know if it is. And he spoke really well, and he wasn't so corporate speak, because that annoys me as well. I like people being direct, but he wasn't. Let's zoom out. But he was very much, the coach that I liked the way he spoke. I liked the way he was. You could tell that they are both big into the psychological aspect of the game. And you and I did a video a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, about Calvin Phillips and me thinking he had the yips and that his head had gone.
Yeah.
If you've got two people like that at the helm, I think people will be psychologically right. And what we said also about pre-season friendlies are, although the results are not the be-all and end-all, winning is a habit, and so is losing. So actually, this good feeling could be everything coming together, bad apples out the way, team bonding, better vibe, and just everything now is going in the right direction. So I'm cautiously optimistic. That's how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting about the bad apples, because if you put 50 people in a room together, not everyone is going to get on with everyone. No. And the people that you pick out that you might think that you're not particularly getting on with, other people might get on with them. So the dynamics always change. So I'd be amazed, and we are talking about 50 people here, really, because there's 30 odd people in that squad. We've got 10 youngsters from the academy coming. You've got however many 10 backroom staff. There are going to be people. The moment Moyes and his team left, it's going to change the dynamic. So you're going to get that. So people come in, and it doesn't really matter who they are. But I would just be amazed if a new coaching team came in and there wasn't 2 or 3. You think, well, okay, doesn't necessarily mean they're bad people, but they're not going to work with what the environment we're trying to create. And I think you possibly saw a little bit of that with Fulkrug last season, where he was outspoken. I know we all liked it because things were crap, and he called it as he saw it, which we've already said. We like the plain speaking, but he did get punished for it. I'm quite sure of that. He did get put out of the team for a little bit, but and he alluded to it. He actually said it in his interview the other day. Fulkrug did say, maybe I spoke out of turn. I probably shouldn't have said that. So I think he's now reflected on it. I think they've had a chat. So, I mean, that's good because he's been able to turn it round. But there's certainly probably a load of things that maybe one manager likes plain speaking and maybe another manager doesn't. Maybe under David Moyes, they were all able to call each other "see you next Tuesdays" to quote your lovely podcast, and that was encouraged. No, have a go at each other. Do you know what I mean? Square up. Maybe under Lopetegui that was encouraged because there was a lot of fisticuffs and stuff like that allegedly behind the scenes. And maybe just someone like Potter comes in. No, we're not doing that. You know, it's foot massages for everyone. When under Graham Potter and Bruno. So yeah, I think quite possibly there's that. So it's bringing the right characters. Is probably the same for any coach anyway. Just talk about Marshall. The Evening Standard. It's not called the Evening Standard anymore. It's just called the Standard. By the way,
isn't it? Yeah,
the Standard. I don't even think it's a newspaper anymore. I don't think you get that at the station.
Online, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, even if it is, probably not 20 pence anymore. Anyway,
showing your age, there, Gonzo.
I know. Do you know what? Actually, my son asked me earlier on. I've got to say, he said, "You got any money?" They say that quite a lot. I don't know. The only money I can't even prove it now because it's not even there. The only money I had, I've got it. The only money I had,
a shilling,
was this solitary 20 pence piece. And I said, I haven't got any money, and I'm like, cashless. We're all gone cashless now. So the Standard said that West Ham would be looking to reject any loan offers for Callum Marshall because they want to integrate him into the first team, basically. I'm
delighted about that. He's almost had his little miniature Freddie Sears moment, hasn't he? Popping up, scoring, in the 2 pre-season friendlies, and then, not managing to get on the score sheet the other night against Everton. Hoping to see him on Sunday, maybe even hoping to see him start. But I just love his energy and his work rate. And I know I'm ripping off your opinion a little bit now. I agree with you. He shoots really early, like a Defoe. He gets it away before the keeper's set. And I could just see him coming on, making cameo appearances. But then that's just, the West Ham fan in me. And even with that report, just worries about how much faith Potter will have in the Premier League. It's not a groom for later kind of environment anymore. It's not have time to bring the young players through. It's pressurized. It's money. It's results based. So I do worry about that. He did come in and bring Scholes in. I know there was maybe mitigating circumstances around Scholes' personal life that we won't go into as to why he maybe was admitted from the squad, so much towards the end of the season. But it did feel a little bit like he brought him in as a token gesture to get the fans on side. But again, I don't know the full picture. So I do worry, again, about what I refer back to what I said a moment ago. We've witnessed pre-season games where we've seen Josh Cullen play brilliant, who's just been named club captain at Burnley, by the way. So good for him. We've seen Coventry play well. We've seen others play well. And then ultimately the season starts. And even if they decide to keep them around, it's ultimately, under 21s, under 23 development squad games and maybe, an appearance in the Carabao Cup. So how much he'll be used, I don't know. But even on what you were saying about the environment now, Potter and Bruno seem more cerebral in their approach, So I'm sure he has a plan for all the youngsters. I'm sure he's, working on what they need to do. And it would be nice if he can liaise with Noble and the rest of the academy on actually plotting out a path for them and their route, whether it be for some of them loan, whether it be some of them hang around for a season and just travel and just soak up the experience. I'm hoping this is all thought about. You know what I mean? As opposed to keeping him around and see what he does.
I think it will be. I think it will be. And I know what you're saying about the token gesture and all the rest of it. I don't want to be. I'm naturally cynical about everything, but I don't want. I want him to do well. I want Potter to do well. I want to believe what he's saying, and I want his methods to be successful. Well, yeah, of course I do. So I'm going to take him at his word. I'm going to take him at his word with the youngsters, and it would just be absolutely brilliant if we get to 10 games into the season and Freddie Potts has played, and Scholes has played, and Marshall's played as well, and we're looking at it and thinking, oh, this is great, and we're finding Earthy's being, whatever. I don't know how bad his fitness issue is, but maybe that he gets back onto that. I think that'd be really good, and just to look at the bench and see those 4 on the bench, be brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I would love that, and I just offered. If you didn't watch the game, you would have missed it. Even 5 minutes he was on, he was so good. And I just think it's a real opportunity for him to go to the Championship and really, really prove himself there. Before I get your thoughts on midfield and in particular Jacob Ramsey, I just want to remind everybody that the Hammers Chat raffle closes on Sunday. Match-worn Mark Noble NHS COVID shirt. We've got a signed Mark Noble shirt from the last season at Upton Park, and we've got a Mark Noble signed armband. We've got a whole Noble stuff. There's a lot of Noble stuff going on. If you don't like Mark Noble, this raffle's probably not for you. If it is, then check out the link in the description below. It takes you to our raffle site. We're doing loads of this stuff at the moment, and we've already given away loads and loads of prizes on there. Tickets are £5 each. If you buy 2 tickets, then you get the third one free. Closes on Sunday evening. Go and get involved. Or you don't even have to get involved. Go and check it out, and you can just stick a follow on there. So when we do raffles in the future, I'm guessing your phone will beep and you'll get a notification. I'm sure your phone beeps too much anyway. Everyone's phone's like that. But go and check it out. We'd really, really appreciate it. Jacob Ramsey Prowse. Let me tell you where I think we're up to at the point of recording this, but this stuff can change so quickly. As I said earlier, I did me 60 seconds earlier, published it, and the goalkeeper thing was incorrect. So as we record right now at 18:32, what time is it in Tenerife?
Same. We're on the same Greenwich Mean Time.
Of course, you're down. You're just down, aren't you? You're down there. You're not. Yeah, of course, you're on the same longitude. Is that right?
I think so.
I think it is. Anyway, we want him. Now, West Ham are said to be really interested in him. He's become our top target. He plays on the left of midfield for Villa, but I think if we were going to get him, it would be as a central midfielder. So let me just say that now. I do think he's got the qualities to do that. Some people say we can't afford him. Some people say Villa are going to be desperate for the money. Some people say he doesn't want to come. But I do wonder if I just don't know. I don't know if that's true. And then the people that say it's likely to happen are obviously pointing out that he's a Will Salthouse client, not the Mexican version. What are your thoughts on him coming in, mate?
I wouldn't turn my nose up at it. I've heard the same as you, that he's not keen on coming to us. But Aston Villa have sort of FFP issues that they need to address. Having already done that, but that was them that sold their women's team to themselves, wasn't it? We spoke about it in the last time we were on. Although I would welcome him and support him if he pulls on the shirt, I still don't think he's the type of midfielder we need. I really think we need a strong old athletic destroyer, an athlete, a box to box big Chunkenstein, as you call him.
Chunkenstein, Chunkenstein. Oh, I know exactly.
We need a Fofana. We need a Cecchiati mould of player. I'm delighted with Potts. I don't know what's going to happen with Alvarez's future. Put it this way, I know he's not necessarily what I'm saying. I'm contradicting myself a little. He's not exactly this type of player. Imagine a midfield though with Paqueta and Douglas Luiz together. Just popping it about, and then either an Alvarez or
a lot of dancing going on.
There would be a lot of samba dancing going on.
He's doing all that, isn't he, at the moment? Love it.
That's what we like to see. I would take him. I'm not sure he's what we need. He's around about the right age, isn't he? He's mobile, which is good. I mean, I keep banging on about it. We desperately need an athlete in there. We need legs. And it's all right having one person that's not so mobile who's a passer. Take Mark Noble towards the last couple of years. He had a Lanzini next to him, or he might have had a Modiami next to him. We can't be having a midfield with Speedo Rodriguez, James Ward. James won't pass forward. James Ward Mouse, quite as a man. We can't be having a midfield free of them and Souček, or any other type with those. That you need legs around you if you're going to have a passer in there. You know, you do need a passer. You know, we desperately need someone that helps us transition our attacks because there's absolutely no link up between our midfield and our forward players.
Yep.
So, I mean, maybe he'd be decent for that. But I just feel like we need a bit of steel in there. You know, someone who's really box to box. Whereas Souček pops up with a goal, but he's box and box, isn't he? He doesn't really do a lot in between.
In my head when you're saying that, he never played for us, but I thought he was really good. Well, he was good as much as I thought it. Michael Essien.
Exactly that. And when I think of those players, I think of African players. I think of players in even that Kessie, who was at AC Milan, you know, that kind of player.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we were linked to him for a while, but the kind of solid, you know, you're not going to get past me, either the ball or you go past, not both. Break things up, box to box, you know, good on the ball. That's the kind of player that I would like to see. And I'm not sure if Ramsey's in that mold, but I wouldn't turn my nose up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we'll leave it there. We've done a lovely half an hour, mate. You got a show to get to. Couple of number 2s to do for your toilet there. You got aren't you there? You are actually in there. You're in the utility room, aren't you?
I am. My utility room is next to this. This is my recording studio.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
I don't, you can't see that there. Got a mic hung up. This is like the soundproof on the wall. But it's dropped now. I say dropped. It's 34 degrees at time of recording. And I'm in a soundproof, airtight room. So
you're hot. Okay, sorry, mate.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
You're enjoying that tumble dryer on the other side of the wall there, mate.
That's what I need to do. Yeah, I need to do. And I couldn't get a fan in here because it will pick up on the microphone.
And you got your nice pink light on behind you. That's kicking out a bit of heat as well.
It's actually red, yeah. So before you starting rumours, but yeah, it's very nice. I tried to buy a raffle ticket to support Emma's chat, but I can't buy one in this location. So you know what I've got to do now?
You've got to get Surfshark. It's the wrong video. It's the wrong video. It's the wrong.
I know you're not doing advert in this one, but that's going to be my only option, I think. And I did hear a rumour that Noble might even have had a number 2 in that shirt as well, would he?
I know what would have worried me if when he was doing it, he'd have had a pen with him, and that would have been you got a pen, though? Yeah, funny you mentioned it. I've got one just here. Mate, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
I've lowered the tone appropriately. Thanks,
We both did. Take care, mate. Cheers.